To go or going, to speak or speaking. Today we are talking about a grammar point that often trips up learners. To trip up means to confuse, okay? So this is a topic that usually trips up or confuses many English learners. Gerunds versus infinitives. But don't worry, because by the end of the episode today, hopefully you will have a better understanding on these topics and how to use these structures correctly. Hey everybody, how's it going? Thiago here, and welcome to another episode of the podcast. In case you're new here, I created this podcast to help intermediate and advanced learners of English communicate with more confidence, more accuracy, more clarity, and more awareness. If this sounds like something you want for yourself and your English, don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you are on YouTube, and if you are on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, follow the show so you don't miss a single new episode. Also, don't forget to check out my new pronunciation course available on pre-sale. I've created this course to help you speak better English by learning the main sounds of the English language, and also improve your listening skills when you listen to movies, TV series, podcasts, and native speakers in real life. Because in this course, you also learn the main connected speech patterns, how native speakers usually connect sounds in a sentence, reduce sounds, and cut sounds out. It's a really cool course, and it's available at a very special price because it's on pre-sale. If you want to learn more information about the course, the link is in the description of this video and also as a pinned comment on YouTube, and also in the show notes if you are on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. Do check it out. All right, so let's get started with our lesson today on gerunds versus infinitives. We form gerunds by adding ing to the base form of a verb. For instance, eat becomes eating, run becomes running, and swim becomes swimming. Let's see some of these verbs in action. Swimming is my favorite exercise. I enjoy reading in my free time. She's good at painting. Infinitives, on the other hand, are the base form of a verb, preceded by the word to. For example, I work to pay my bills. He wants to learn French. It's important to study for the test. So now let's go over the main rules of gerunds and infinitives. First, let's talk about rules for gerunds. When do we usually use a gerund or a verb with an ing at the end? First of all, as the subject of the sentence. Think of a gerund as a verb that's decided to moonlight as a noun. By the way, this is a very nice word. To moonlight as something means to have a second job in addition to the main job you have, often done secretly or at night, So you moonlight as something. For example, during the day, he's a school teacher, but at night, he moonlights as a private detective. Ooh, look at that. That could be a good story for a novel or for a TV series, right? So think of a gerund as a verb that can be used as a noun, as the main subject of the sentence. And usually, we begin the sentence with that verb, with that gerund. For example, swimming is my favorite exercise. You see, the action of swimming here is my favorite exercise. Swimming here is not the main verb. The main verb is, the verb to be. Swimming is my favorite exercise. What is my favorite exercise? Swimming. You see, I'm talking about the act of swimming, not necessarily the verb swim or swimming. It's the act, the action, Or, for example, reading in my free time relaxes me. What is the main verb here? Relaxes. Okay? That's the main verb. Reading here is like a noun, is the subject of this sentence. What relaxes me in my free time? Reading. Painting abstract pictures is something she is really good at. Okay? So that's the first rule when to use gerunds, as a noun and as the main subject of a sentence. Usually we start the sentence with a gerund if you have a verb. Okay? The second rule here for gerunds is after certain verbs, because some verbs only take gerunds after. Okay? And for this, guys, there's no shortcut. You really need to learn and memorize these verbs. Let me give you some examples here. Enjoy, avoid, finish, mind, and consider. If after these verbs you have another verb, that second verb needs to be in the gerund form, in the ing form. Okay? So for example, I say, I enjoy hiking. I can't say, I enjoy hike. Or I enjoy to hike. No. Enjoy only takes a gerund after. So I enjoy hiking. What about, I finished reading the book last night? Not, I finished to read the book last night. Or even worse, I finished read the book last night. I finished reading the book last night. So you always finish doing something. You finish watching a movie. Okay? Let me give you a few more examples of verbs that only take the gerund. Admit. That's another one. Deny. For example, she denied being involved in the crime. You see, she denied being, that's my gerund there, be plus ing. She denied being involved in the crime. Imagine walking on a beautiful beach. You see, imagine walking, imagine doing this, doing that. Okay? I said mind, right? For example, I don't mind doing the dishes after dinner. It's okay. I don't mind doing the dishes after dinner. So notice that you have to memorize which verbs only take the gerund. The good news is that if you are a person who regularly consumes English, if you're always gaining exposure to English through movies, series, podcasts, and media in general, chances are most of these verbs you kind of internalize organically or naturally, simply by listening to a lot of English in songs and in media. But you can also be a little bit more deliberate with this if you want to. What I recommend nowadays is just open up an AI tool. Go to ChatGPT or Google Gemini and search for this. Write this. Give me a list of 50 verbs that only take gerunds in English. The tool is going to give you the 50 words, the 50 verbs. And then if you want, you can, as a follow-up, you can ask, great, now give me one example sentence with each one of these verbs. You're going to have one example sentence with each one so you can see how they are used. You can do that, or you can just go to Google and type in list of gerund verbs or verbs gerund list. You're going to find websites, images that have a list of some of the main verbs that only take the gerund. Okay? Finally, the third rule here when we use gerund is after prepositions. If after a preposition you have a verb, that verb needs to be in the ing form. For example, I'm interested in learning more. In is a preposition. Right after, I have a verb, learn. So I have to say learning. Guys, don't say I'm interested to learn more. I'm interested in learning more. Okay? Or I'm good at speaking English. I'm good at speaking English. At is my preposition. Speak is the verb right after. So I'm good at speaking English. Some examples of prepositions here. In, on, at. after, before, of, with, without. These are prepositions. Okay? Before going to bed, I always brush my teeth. You see? Before is a preposition. Before going, not before to go. After waking up, I wash my face. After is a preposition. After waking up, I wash my face. Okay? If you want here, you can say I, and then you don't have to use the gerund. You can say before I go to bed, that's okay. Or after I wake up, that's correct. But if you don't have I there, the subject is just the verb right after ing. Before going to bed, after waking up. Okay? Now, let's talk a little bit about the main rules for infinitives. When do we use infinitives? First of all, after some verbs. Because just like gerunds, there are other verbs in English that only accept the infinitive after the to and the verb. For example, want, need, decide, hope, and promise. For example, she wants to sing. You see, wants to sing. Not she wants singing. All right? I need to order something for dinner. I need to order. Not I need ordering. I hope to get that job. I hope to get, not I hope getting. Okay? Let me give you some other examples here of verbs that only take the infinitive after. Afford. That's a good one. I can't afford to buy this video game console right now. You see, I can't afford to buy it. Agree. You agree to do something. Arrange. Deserve. Fail. Forget. You forget to do something, right? Learn. Manage. Offer. Plan. Refuse. Tend. Something tends to happen. Okay? Again, just like for gerunds, go to Gemini, ChatGPT, and ask for a list of verbs that only take the infinitive with example sentences. You're going to get it. Okay? There are these that I just listed and many more. Also remember that with constant exposure to English, most of these, I guess you already know instinctively. Okay? Like learn, maybe, you learn to do something. I learned to drive. I learned to speak English. Okay? Another rule for infinitives is to express purpose. Why do you do something? It's to answer the question, why do you do something? For example, why do you study English? I study English to have better opportunities in my life. You see, I study English, now the infinitive, to have better opportunities in my life. This is actually a great alternative for you to answer a question with why. Because, for example, if I ask you, why do you study English? You could answer with because, right? Why do you study English? Because I need better opportunities in my life, or because I want to have better opportunities in my life. That's okay. You are using because. But you don't have to use because all the time to answer a question with why. You can simply use an infinitive. Why do you study English? I study English to have better opportunities in my life. Why do you work every day? To pay my bills. Or I work every day to pay my bills. You see, I don't have to say because I have to pay my bills. So it's a great alternative to answer a question with why. Why do you do something? Okay? Finally, the third rule here for infinitives is after adjectives. Okay? For example, he's not tall to play basketball. So tall is an adjective. Right after I have the verb play. So I say tall to play, not tall playing. He's not tall to play basketball. Another example, it's important to exercise weekly. Important is an adjective. Exercise is a verb, so important to exercise, not important exercising. Okay? So think about adjectives. Tall, short, important, easy, hard, difficult. Okay? After these, if you have a verb, you need the infinitive. You need the to. Okay? Now, of course, we are talking about English here. It's a language. So even though languages have their rules, there are always exceptions, right? Because these are languages, right? This is not exact sciences we're talking about here. So, of course, some verbs are more flexible in English. Some verbs can take either the gerund or the infinitive after. For example, like, so I could say, I like swimming, or I like to swim. No problem. Love, I love to play guitar, or I love playing guitar. Hate, I hate doing the dishes when it's cold, or I hate to do the dishes when it's cold. Start, you start to learn English, or you start learning English. You see, so these verbs are more flexible. You can use either one here, all right? But most of the time, you have a specific list for gerund verbs and infinitive verbs. Now, guys, to conclude this episode, I have here a short exercise for us to do together. It's a fill-in-the-blank exercise. So you have to fill in the blanks with the correct form of the verb, gerund, or infinitive, okay? Let's do it like this, because, those of you who are just listening to me, you can also do it with me, okay? I'm going to read the sentence to you, and I'm going to give you the two options, one with infinitive and another with the gerund. And you just think to yourself there, which one is correct, okay? So here it is. Number one, he decided to study abroad, or he decided studying abroad. Think and say to yourself, the first one is correct, or the second one is correct. Number two, I enjoy listening to music, or I enjoy to listen to music. Number three, she's afraid of to fly, or she's afraid of flying. Number four, they want buying a new car, or they want to buy a new car. Number five, we finished to eat dinner, or we finished eating dinner. Number six, it's difficult to learn a new language, or it's difficult learning a new language. Number seven, I'm looking forward to meet you, or I'm looking forward to meeting you. Number eight, he promised to call me back, or he promised calling me back. Number nine, I can't stand to wait in line, or I can't stand waiting in line. And number 10, we need talking about this, or we need to talk about this. So could you think about the answers here? Let me give you the right answers now. So number one, the correct answer is he decided to study abroad. Decide is one of those verbs that only take the infinitive after. So he decided to study abroad. Number two, I enjoy listening to music. Enjoy is one of those verbs that only take the gerund. She's afraid of flying. Why? Because of is a preposition. So I say flying, the gerund. She's afraid of flying. Number four, they want to buy a new car. or they want to buy a new car with a reduction, right? Number 5, we finished eating dinner. Finish is one of those verbs that only take the gerund. We finished eating dinner. Number 6, it's difficult to learn a new language. Number 7, I'm looking forward to meeting you. Okay? This is a common mistake I see some learners making sometimes when they send me messages or emails. They go, I'm looking forward to meet you. But to here is a preposition, so I need the ing after, the gerund. I'm looking forward to meeting you. For this phrase, it's just easier for you to memorize it. You are looking forward to doing something. I'm looking forward to seeing you when you come visit me. I'm looking forward to watching that new movie. Okay? Number 8, he promised to call me back. Number 9, I can't stand waiting in line. Stand is one of those verbs that only take the gerund. So I can't stand waiting in line. That reminds me of a great song by The Police. You know, The Police, the band, Sting, Andy Summers, you know. The name of the song is Can't Stand Losing You. I can't stand losing you. You know, it's a very nice song. Can't stand losing you. Okay? That's why, guys, it's really important for you to have a lot of exposure to English. You see, many times when I'm recording the podcast here, when I'm teaching classes, you know, when I'm with my students in class, many times I remember movie clips, song titles, articles that I read in English connected to what we are discussing or that illustrate a piece of language. So that's why you have to consume a lot of English. Listen to a lot of English. Okay? And finally, number 10, we need to talk about this. We need to talk about this. If you want to apply a little bit of connected speech here, you could reduce the to a do, like a light D. So we need to talk. We need to talk about this. We need to talk about this. All right? So guys, that's it about gerunds and infinitives. I hope you enjoyed it. Before I leave you though, we need to talk, We need to talk about something. My new pronunciation course. Don't forget to check it out because in the course, you learn connected speech patterns like this one. We need to talk, we need to do, and many others, and the sounds of the English language for you to improve your pronunciation and overall speech and flow. Check it out, link in the description and also in the show notes. Thank you so much for watching this lesson today, guys. I hope you learned a lot from it. And if you have a future grammar topic for me to cover, leave your grammar topic suggestion here in the comments under the video on YouTube and also on Spotify. You can leave me a comment there suggesting a future grammar topic you want me to cover and teach here on the podcast. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel here on YouTube. This helps me tremendously. Share this video and the channel as a whole with the people you know who might not know the channel yet. And if you are on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, leave me a 5-star review on those platforms. That also helps me tremendously. Guys, thank you so much. I'll be talking to you very soon in the upcoming video, and stay healthy, stay safe. Bye-bye.